pick it all up and chop it?
Yeah, we'll, you know, we're not even going to chop it. I'm too excited to talk about this. I'm here with Michael Anderson with Aries Magazine, which just holding it in my hands, I started feeling like a little fanboy, 13 years old again, talking about sci-fi magazines and games. And you were talking about a card game right now.
I was. Aries Magazine is a brand new magazine. It's 80 pages of science fiction and fantasy, horror, those sorts of stories, lots of short stories in every issue. We also do a science interview and a science article in every issue. But the most exciting thing I think about this magazine is that every issue is packaged with a complete playable board game. We were talking about board games. Aries is published by a company called One Small Step Games. And One Small Step Games has been in the business for, gosh, well, since 1996. You can do your own math. And one of the games that we published, we were talking about a moment ago, is Jaunty Jalopies. And it was a card game, and we did all the, it's based on a car race that might have existed in the 1920s. So we did all of the artwork in black and white. We had all the little captions in silent movie. And the number of people who actually got the relationship was very low.
Yeah. I would have gotten it because my brain works in that strange, I try and find a relation to everything when I'm looking at stuff. Like when I mentioned the magazine, the feel just brought back that old magazine feel to it. But yeah, I would have gotten the jalopies, the what do you call the cue cards are
well, sure, and all the art was black and white, and people couldn't understand why we weren't doing it in color, and the answer was, we're trying to give you the feel of the 1920s.
So you gotta imagine the 1920s, you couldn't see color, period.
Maybe that's how it worked.
Yeah, you never know. So, now the game you guys published with this issue is War of the Worlds.
Correct.
And you just mentioned that the game you played about an hour ago, humanity won.
Correct. Humanity was able to defeat the Martian invaders. London was saved. A little bit of it was burned around the edges, but overall London...
Can I grab the map really quickly?
Oh, please. Here you go.
Now, you're using a very familiar board style that many people might recognize. But so far, as you've been playing here at the con, what have been our odds? Has humanity had an advantage over Martians so far, or?
I think that playing the Martians is a little bit more forgiving. They have better technology. I think the game is balanced, but I think it's more difficult for the human player to come up with a strategy that's going to work because the Martians did cross between planets.
That's true.
And the Londoners, all they've done is Master T.
You know, yeah, and all they have is Doctor Who, and that's if the Doctor has to be around to save them in the first place.
He doesn't appear in this game, at least not overtly.
Oh, I was gonna say, where's the TARDIS at? I'll just point to that icon and win automatically.
Well, there are champions in the game, and there's no reason why we couldn't put together an extra one for subscribers.
Yeah, there you go. Now, you also mentioned this is your first Comic-Con.
It is my first Comic-Con.
Now, you did wet your feet over at WonderCon in Anaheim. How was that for you?
It was good. Now, fortunately, I wasn't running a booth. I think the logistics would have been too much, but I had a wonderful time walking around and talking to the artists and trying to get folks to help us put together subsequent issues of the magazine, because we're always looking for more short stories, we're looking for more game designs, looking for more artists who can do game covers or game art. So we need a lot of, anybody who has some skill, wants to throw their hat in the ring, we're always interested.
Where do I toss it?
Right over there.
Now, this is your first Comic-Con, and obviously I can get your perspective. How overwhelming does it feel to be in this crowd? This is day one, this is the light foot traffic right now. Saturday is when it turns into a ballistic nightmare for some people.
Well, I was here on Tuesday setting up the booth, so the magnitude of the size of the room and that sort of thing was already something I think I've internalized. I'm not a big fan of crowds. So
don't say that out loud around here.
I get behind the curtains and I hide and I do a lot of crying.
You do your best impersonation of a cubicle creature.
Sure, keep it around the side.
But I mean, Aries Magazine, where people want to subscribe or purchase the magazine, where can they go? They
can go to www.ariesmagazine.com, or they can go to One Small Step, OSSgames.com. I should remember my own website, I should think. We have a Facebook page and Twitter. And again, Aries Magazine is the name for both. Aries Magazine for Twitter, or just Aries Magazine on Facebook.
Now, if people are interested in contributing with art, ideas, and stories,
if they go to the website, there is a contact list, and so it should give them a list of who to write to.
find their specific person to poke at.
We're currently running a contest for game designs. You've only got about 2 weeks left, so get your game designs in. Subject matter is horror, so if you've got a scary game or if you've always wanted to design a game, send it in. There's a first prize, and if we think the game is good enough, we'll give you more money for the rights to publish it in the magazine.
Fantastic. So if you're an old sci-fi geek like myself, or just honestly you want some reading material that isn't flooded with everything else you see that is mainstream, is a good way to put it?
Sure.
Ares Magazine is a good place to go if you want to get a good, monthly game in your issue. Are we expecting monthly, quarterly?
I'm desperately trying to make 6 issues come out every year. I think our first year will probably slip to 5. That's okay.
It can be forgiven.
It can be forgiven. We're new.
There you go. But still, hey, even if it's 6 times in a year, 5 times in a year, still 5 games and 5 issues, and great reading material. And I'll definitely be in contact. I've got my own ideas I can throw my multiple wall hats into.
Excellent.
Michael, thank you so much.
Thank
Guys,
you.
We'll keep you posted on more Comic-Con updates.